A very good morning to all my dear students. Today we are here with the 6th chapter of our social science subject. In this chapter, you will be learning about the establishment and the administrative system of the medieval age. Okay, students, in this chapter you will also learn how the Rajput rule or the Rajput age came to an end, and after that which all dynasties came, right? So we will be learning about that. But in this session we will be focusing on the administrative system and the art and the literature part during the medieval age. So without wasting time, let's get started. Administrative system during the Rajput age. Now students, to understand the complete administrative system, right, there are different points. So the first point in that is succession to the throne. Okay, what is succession to the throne? Let us see in detail. Though succession to the throne was hereditary means passed on from parent to the child, right? It was not compulsory that the eldest son only become the king. It is not compulsory that the eldest son will only become the king. If the younger son, right, the older son is more capable of becoming the king, he will be selected as the king. The king could enthrone any son of his choice. The heir selected by the king was called the crown prince. Whether the younger son or the elder son, whosoever is selected, and the one who is selected was called the crown prince. There are a few exceptional cases in the Rajput era where the king was selected by the people or the ministers. Means for the Rajputs, the king should be very strong and capable of doing everything, right? So it in few cases, in exceptional cases in Rajput era, in the history we can find that there were many kings who were made by the people or by the ministers and not by the king himself. Okay, for example, King Yashakara of Kashmir was selected and enthroned by a group of Brahmins, while King Kumarpal of Gujarat was enthroned by the ministers of the royal court. Right? So these two kings are exceptional cases where a group of Brahmins, they selected the king, and in Kumarpal's case, the ministers of the royal court, they selected him as the king. So the first point you saw was succession to the throne, right? Now second point, division of labor. Now what is division of labor? Let's see. Rajput kings of this era, that is during the medieval era, purely worked for welfare of the people, right? They only worked for the welfare of the people, nothing else. For them, welfare of the people was everything. The king appointed various ministers for proper administration and management of his kingdom. Different ministers were appointed so that the division of work was done properly and the work is done efficiently. There were different ministers for different work, right? So division of labor was given importance during the Rajput rule. Now the third point of the administrative system was village administration. Now what is village administration? Let us see. Village institutions were very important during the medieval period, right? The panchayat looked after its administration. The head of the panchayat was called Mukhi or Sarpanch, and he was responsible for protecting and delivering justice to the villagers. Students, you are very much aware and it's quite easy to understand, right? His words were the final verdict. Verdict means decision. Whatever decision the sarpanch, the mukhi, the panchayat, right, they take, that is the final verdict, means the final decision. Still, in many cases, the Gram Sabha would also give verdict and punish the culprits, right? Even punishments were given. Even today, Gram Panchayat exists at village level. Even today, you know that many small villages, they still have the, you can say, the pratha of Gram Panchayat, right? So, the Sarpanch, the Mukhi was given the prime importance in the village. So we saw succession to the throne, division of labor, village administration. Now the last one is revenue. What is revenue? At that time, land revenue was the main income of the kingdom. Revenue, you can say, where money regularly received by the government, right? So that time the money was received through land revenue. Each kingdom had different ways of collecting land revenue, but usually the sixth part of the cultivation was taken as the land revenue. Whatever the farmer earns from that, sixth part is taken as land revenue. Apart from this, people also paid a few other taxes. Different officers were appointed for different activities. Moreover, taxes were collected at ports and octroi points, right? Ports and octroi points are the points where, where ships are loaded, unloaded, and octroi is various goods entering your city, right? So that it was the task of the feudal lords or landlords to collect the taxes and give some part of the tax to the king for the administration of the state. Feudal lords we have clearly learnt in our previous chapter, right? Who are feudal lords? What do they do? Everything we have done. So it was a task of the feudal lords. So you can say the revenue department, complete revenue department, was taken care by the feudal lords. Clear, all of you? Now moving to the literature part. Administrative part is done, right? Where we saw about succession to throne, division of labor, village administration and revenue. Now moving to the second part of the session is art and literature during the medieval age. During the Rajput age, there was a lot of religious writing as well as literature of various kinds. Student, from the first chapter, you are learning about Rajput age, and you have seen that Rajput people were not just brave, but they gave prime importance to art and literature also, right? Many literary works were composed in Sanskrit, Prakrit, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, etc. Means all languages were given importance, and in all languages you can find literary works done during the Rajput rule. Now students, from here you will be learning about different poets and what work they did, different authors, everything. So here students, you have to be careful, and this you have to learn by heart. Okay. The great Sanskrit poet Magd composed the epic Shishupalvada. This epic describes the killing of Shishupal by Sri Krishna. Similarly, another poet, Sri Harsh, wrote the epic Naisha da Charitra, which is about the story of Nal and Damayanti. Apart from these two classics, poems were also composed describing Krishna Bhakti done by Radha and other gopis. Okay, so you have to learn by heart what Magd composed. What was that? Shishu Palvada. And same way, other poet Sri Harsh wrote the epic. What was the name? Naishada Charitra. Okay. Hemchandracharya wrote Kumarpal Charita and a grammar book, Sittem Shabda Anushasan. Students, this is very important. Okay, as the title indicates, the name of King Siddharth Jaisingh and Hemchandracharya are associated with this book. See the first word, Sittem. Okay, Sid is Siddharth Jaisingh. Hemchandracharya, that is Sittem, right? Sittem, Shabd Anushasan, Shabd, words, Anushasan, discipline, right? Grammar, discipline of words, right? So the book was named Sittem Shabd Anushasan. This book was considered so important that it was placed on an elephant during a procession in Patan. In Patan, the procession was taken out specially for the book, where the book was placed on an elephant, and Siddharth Jaisingh and Hemchandracharya, they walked, right? And they walked barefooted, right? So that was the uniqueness, and this shows how important literature was at that time, and how importance was given by the Rajput rulers to the literature. Okay, so this book is one of the best grammar book, that is Sittem Shabda Anushasan. Not only poetry, but plays were also written during that time. Bhavbhuti wrote Uttaram Charitra. What did Bhavbhuti wrote? Uttaram Charitra. Pandit Narayan composed Hitopdesh, a collection of stories based on the Panchtantra. Student, Panchtantra is an ancient Indian collection of animal stories, animal fables in Sanskrit, right? So, based on Panchtantra, Pandit Narayan composed Hitopdesh. So here we come to an end of our first session, where you saw about the administrative system and art and literature. Okay, now homework time. Students, I hope you are taking all the sessions seriously and you are doing your homework, worksheet, everything in your notebook. Okay, so today's homework is you have to make the list of the main works composed in the Rajput era, right? So you can make two columns where one column you'll write about author and poet, whosoever, and the work. Okay, for example, Hemchandracharya. In the first column, you'll write Hemchandracharya. In the second column, the works done by him, that is Kumarpal Charita and Satyam Shabd Anushasan. Same way, you have to make a table for the rest of the author and poet. Okay, clear all of you? So you can use your textbook for that, so that you can read your textbook, and please read your textbook thoroughly. You can read this chapter till what I have made you understand, right? Till the literature part, you can read your textbook, and in that you can find out different other author and poets also. So include them also. Okay. So thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless you all.